someone rather than doing it by myself, which is what it would be otherwise. So right now we're at the Mill Pond area, and that building over there with the white balcony, that's Darwin College. That's the 8th college on the river today, and it is a postgraduate only college. So it was set up in 1964/5 because it was over sort of New Year, and was set up by St John's Trinity and another college that we won't see today, but Gonville Keys. It was set up after the war to train up more people because there was a lack of educated people. So the bridge we're going under now is Silver Street Bridge. It was built by Edward Lutyens, and it's a nice break from the rain. So Edward Lutyens is a famous architect. He designed New Delhi, the capital city of India, which is a very formulated and organised city. It's called Silver Street Bridge because it's where the silver merchants used to come and trade and sell their silver. Oh, actually. So I presume you probably weren't able to hear what I was saying about Queens, so I'll say that so it makes more sense. So Queens was founded in 1446 by Andrew Dockett, but unfortunately Andrew Dockett...
Queen's College, you mean?
Queen's College, we are at Queen's College.
Okay.
From this bridge onwards. So Queen's College was founded by Andrew Dockett, but he had an argument with King Henry VI. And King Henry VI therefore removed his licence to own a college. Therefore, Margaret of Anjou, King Henry VI's wife, decided she would like to have the college and refounded the college in 1448. I'm just going to quickly stop there, we'll carry on, but we're just approaching the mathematical bridge.
Okay, which one is that? That one?
This one here. It is built, this one is the 3rd edition, built in 1904, but the original was built in 1749. It is built out of teak, but the original ones were built out of oak. And supposedly you can build it, it can be built without any nuts and bolts, but because what can actually happen is it can take weight along it, so you walking over it would be fine, but any wind, as we've just seen, it can get quite windy, would knock it down.
It's raining here every day, or?
No.
No?
Yesterday apparently was so nice, I wasn't working here, but apparently it was beautiful, and I got today. So, but it does rain here a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's England. So back to why Queen's was founded. So in 1448, similar to Clare College, which we saw earlier, and again I can repeat that if you didn't hear it.
Yes, please.
It didn't actually have enough money to have a college, to have any students. So they approached another 2 queens. Everyone got off my boat.
They got off?
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's death. So they approached another 2 queens, Elizabeth Woodville in 1465, and then Anne Neville in 1484. Anne Neville gave the college a lot of silver, which unfortunately was then confiscated by King Henry VII. Not too sure why, but I think again due to probably another war or another argument. It's going to rain again. I can feel it.
We can make it.
It does look beautiful in the rain though.
Yeah.
Even if it's hard to punt in. So, gosh, I didn't have a spare change of clothes.
Me neither.
I have a jumper and a coat, which I'm glad they're dry.
But you quickly need to change them.
Probably should. Oh dear, never mind.
But your duty is done?
No, I'm working until
7? 6. Oh.
Yeah. But it depends on how busy it is. back at King's College now.
Okay.
You'll be able to see the chapel in a bit. So King's was founded in 1441 by King Henry V, or the Mad or Pious King. He founded it, sorry, it was founded in 1441. I think I said it. He founded it as a finishing college for Etonians, and he set up the school Eton, which is currently a boys' boarding school down in Windsor. He founded it the year before, aged 18, as a school to educate the poor. It is no longer to educate the poor, it is for the elites. But anyway, he founded King's to finish their education off, and they would study what was known as a gentleman's degree. The gentleman's degree was literally studying how to become a gentleman, but at the end of the test, at the end of the degree, you wouldn't be tested because it is wrong to test a gentleman. It's like it might rain again, probably. So unfortunately, there is no gentleman's degree that you can study anymore.
Okay.
But there is a fully funded place here at King's for one Etonian each year. So did you hear much about what I was saying about King's Chapel?
No.
No, okay, I will tell you about that. So if you look over to your left, you will be able to see King's Chapel.
Yeah.
It's a very iconic scene of Cambridge. So King's Chapel was founded in it was built in 1446, but it took nearly 100 years to build due to the Wars of the Roses. The lawn we see here today was a whole community which was imposed by a compulsory purchase, and which meant everyone had to give up their homes. Unfortunately, due to the Wars of the Roses, they ran out of money, and therefore it's just a lawn now. So inside the chapel we can see some pretty impressive things, such as fan vaulting. The fan vaulting, basically, have you been into the chapel?
Not yet.
No. Are you going to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll notice the ceiling sort of looks like it's fanned out from the pillars, it sort of goes up. It's a Gothic feature of architecture, and it makes the ceiling very thin. So the ceiling's only 12 centimetres thick, but it weighs 1,800 tons because it's made of stone. Inside we have some Renaissance stained glass windows. It's the largest collection of Renaissance stained glass windows, and the reason is because during the Civil War, Oliver Cromwell used the chapel as a stable for his horses. If he destroyed the windows, then all his horses would have frozen to death. So he kept the windows, and they're still there. During World War II, the windows were removed from the chapel. They were packaged up and labelled and sent to the farms around in the countryside around here, and they survived the Blitz.
Wow.
They are now back
Very clever.
there. It was clever. Also, when you go in, there's I must admit I've never actually been in, despite living there. There's graffiti, so sort of markings that Oliver Cromwell and his troops had left from when they were using it. So, yeah. So because of the Civil War, yeah, everyone got off the steps, but one. So they've got a private tour now for a shared price, pretty good. So we're going under Clare Bridge now, and because of the Civil War, Oliver Cromwell realised that it was going to be easier to defend the city if there was only one bridge. So he kept this one because it was the most newly built at the time, but now it's the oldest.
What's the name of it?
It's Clare Bridge.
Clare Bridge, okay.
And that, you might want to get this on film because it's quite cool, is collapsed. Do you see how it's slightly wonky?
Yeah.
That's because the weight that went over it was so great that it made it buckle.